They just did a thing where they told 2,500 of their employees to start programming shit for AI. And once they were finished with that project, the AI started running itself and replaced those 2,500 people. So Amazon fired them. They basically created their replacement, their computer replacement, out of a job. And that's the way the trend is going. If you become irreplaceable in this new AI side of things, you might be priceless. People will pay whatever to get your expertise. But if you're not, the other side of the equation is you might be zero. Two things that are measurable: money and time, right? That is the lowest common denominator on anything you do. What is the money cost and what is the time cost? So when you put those two together, everybody that does anything, it is at a cost of money or time. I am smelling something bad coming around the corner. So get ready for chaos. Prepare yourselves, get ready for chaos. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the N2N podcast. I'm your host, Dr. N2N, also known as Ninja, Prolific Ninja on my socials and by my family and friends. And because my fans are my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the N2N podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. I called for it, and it's here. Couple episodes ago, I said expect chaos. Chaos is around the corner. But before we talk about that, I'm going to start my episode as I start every day. If you're new to the show, I'm a physician, I'm a lawyer, business guy, several investments across AI, tech, hospitality, consumer products. My main business is my law firm, West Loop Law. We've been serving clients for over 23 years, thousands of clients, millions of dollars. And so with that, how did I get here? Well, I get here, part of the process of getting here is that every morning I thank God and the universe for an opportunity to be great, an opportunity to inspire just one person to live to their fullest controllable potential. Hopefully that's you today. And with that, I want to thank all the people that have been rolling with me for the last 4 years straight with this podcast, our short form on all the socials, our long form on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. The support, the growth has been phenomenal. We haven't missed a week on an episode or content at all. And through this growth, that's the only way we grow, because I have no advertisers. I do this on my own dime, on my own time. There's a team right behind the door here producing this episode for you. And so with that, we can only grow if our audience supports us. And so if you've been inspired by any of this episode or any of the episodes, please do share the show. We do this on a karmic balance exchange, which means I give you free game. The only way you can repay me through your karma is to share the show or visit one of my websites or projects, KiraConnector.com, westlooplaw.com, mymedi.ai, naya.community, or naya, N-A-Y-A-A.ai, 1925 tequila, which is the best tequila around. Just a variety of projects you can support. But as it relates to the N2N podcast, we like to say if your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow together. And that's how we've been doing it for the last 4 years. And so I'm very, very grateful. Now, getting straight into the topic of the show, I told y'all chaos is around the corner, or I told y'all expect chaos this year. It's the fire horse year, movement, action, activity, and oh my, is chaos around the corner. The president, whatever you believe, Israel, whatever, attacked Iran a few weeks ago, and that thing is not going to stop anytime soon. It is just going to continue to escalate and escalate and escalate. The Iranian government cut off the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the global oil supply is being locked up, but it's not about the oil, y'all. It's about the minerals and sulfur, the just all these agricultural products that are also being tied up in the Strait of Hormuz. That's going to affect everything. We're already seeing it in Houston, $5 a gallon of gas. I was just in Nevada a couple weeks ago, $7, $8 a gas. I know people in LA paying $8, $9 a gallon. It is only going to get worse. The housing, real estate market is crumbling. Look this up. This is very, very key. The private credit market. Some of y'all might be too young, but in 2008, there was a real estate bust. And that was based on CDOs, collateral debt obligations, which is repackaging mortgages and shit like that, which cratered the market. This time around, it's called the private credit market. It's banks lending on private credit, individual credit that now the individuals are suffering and they cannot repay this. That market is crumbling. So I am smelling something bad coming around the corner. Okay. So get ready for chaos. Prepare yourselves. Get ready for chaos. Um, despite all that, we only focus on things we can control. Okay. What can we control? Our thoughts, our actions, and our decision. What can we control? Our thoughts, our actions, and actually our emotions and our feelings, right? As it relates to thoughts and actions, a lot of people ask me a lot of times, how do you decide what to do, right? On a daily basis, how do you decide what to do? I always look at things as, when you were in elementary school, it was like, what is the theme of the book? What is the thesis of the paper? Basically, what is the one-line summary? What is like in law we do, what does this case mean? Like a legal case. What is the one-line thing that underscores everything that you've read about in the book? What is the theme of the book, right? Let's do Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? For example, one of the themes is, choosing the middle one. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. Not too soft, not too firm, just right, right? Staying in that middle pocket. So for me, when I evaluate when or how to do things, I always try to find what is the lowest common denominator of 1, replacement cost, or 2, opportunity cost. Okay, what do you mean by that? Well, replacement cost is everybody here, there's 2 things that are irreplaceable, is money and time. 2 things that are measurable, money and time. Right? That is the lowest common denominator on anything you do. What is the money cost and what is the time cost? So when you put those 2 together, everybody that does anything, it is at a cost of money or time. And so let's say you're working a $40,000 a year job. Well, that time is $20 an hour, generally speaking, right? The rule of thumb, just for you business people, 2,000 hours of productive time is your salary, 2,000 hours a year. So if you're $40,000 a year, you're $20 an hour. You're $80,000 a year, you're $40 an hour. So let's use that $40,000 a year example. That means your time is worth $20 an hour, not just in your job, but in everything you do. Okay? So the replacement cost of the time, let's take it outside of the job. Outside of the job, the replacement cost of that time is $20 an hour. So when you have a choice, let's say Friday night, we're recording this on a Friday. If you had a choice to go out tonight and it's going to take 4 hours of your time, it's going to take you $80 of your time, not including the money you're going to spend going out. That is the lowest common denominator. So in other words, the replacement cost is you're going to have to work an extra 4 hours to recover that $80. Okay, if that makes sense. So it's a replacement cost of time. So for me, everything I do, I don't know what my time is because I do a bunch of shit, but let's hypothetically say my time is $1,000 an hour. If what I would bill a client in my law firm, for example, $1,000 an hour. So if I want to go fuck around and play golf today on Friday, that's 5 hours, it's going to cost me, it doesn't cost me hard $5,000, but it's $5,000 of replacement cost or replacement time. I've got to make up that somewhere. Now, I can't create time, right? I've got to make that up somewhere because time is irreplaceable. So if I decide I want to go fuck off today, it's going to cost me that in opportunity costs and replacement cost. $5,000 for 5 hours of golf, not including the money I'm spending on green fees and, liquor and lunch and all this bullshit, balls, equipment, all that stuff. So everything I do, I think about it in terms of what is the value of that time that it's costing me to do Y or X, whatever it is. Then, is it worth it? So the replacement is $5,000 an hour, the golf example, right? However, why would I go play golf if I know it's costing me, quote unquote, $5,000 to go play golf in time and replacement costs? Well, maybe I'm doing it with a business associate. Right now, we're spending 5 hours together, right? But then I lock in a new deal or I lock in a new client worth a $50,000 project. Now I'm ahead 45 grand for that same 5 hours of time. So the hypothetical example, if you're making 40,000 a year, getting paid $20 an hour, right? You're going to go to the club. It's going to, quote, cost you $80 of time. Now, but if you go to the club with, again, a business associate, or there's an objective other than to just get bottle service, if there's an objective or networking or something like that where you can gain more than $80 worth of value out of it, it's worth your time, right? Or if you go $80 an hour, $20 an hour times 4 hours of fucking around the club, you get nothing out of it, well, you're out fucking $80 worth of your time. Yeah, but it's different, man. It's $20 an hour versus yours $1,000 an hour. Look at it this way. You're not directly getting paid for those 4 hours in the club. But hypothetically, let's say you spend those 4 hours studying AI instead. You're not getting paid to study those 4 hours. However, you may get yourself bumped up to $200 an hour as an AI expert. Right? So now it's $200 an hour times 4 hours is now you're worth $800 for that 4 hours. You're worth $200 an hour versus 20. So that opportunity or replacement cost was not as much because you gained more than you spent. Now you're worth your ability to bring value to society is now at $200 an hour versus getting paid $20 an hour. So now you go out, you get a new job, or you go out and work for yourself, and you're getting paid $200 an hour. And that's how you actually bump up or you scale up, right? So people think of it in terms of, if you want to be successful, you can't do what everybody else is doing, because they're going out partying and I'm in the grind. Yes, that is all true. But that feels like a sacrifice. Right? If it's hard to sacrifice like that. It's hard to see all your buddies partying and you're sitting here on the grind. It's hard to accept that. So you just go out and party instead. But if you look at it as what do I have to gain in terms of opportunity or replacement costs? If I can increase the value of my lowest common denominator, which is what do you think you're worth per hour? Ultimately is what I'm saying. What do you think you're worth per hour? Can you grow that with the time, or can whatever you do get more than that with the time? Because all we have is time. And all we have is thoughts, actions, and choices and feelings is what we can control. So if we can control those things in context of the lowest common denominator, what is the value of an hour of your time? And you put that relative to all the choices of things you can do. Right? Okay. So let's say you want to spend, I want to get better at, again, AI, but I don't have the time. And you wake up an hour earlier. It's costing you that whatever you're worth, $20, $30, $40, $50, $100 an hour, but you're gaining skills that can leverage up to making thousands an hour. Is that worth it to you? Is it worth it to you? Because the choice to me would be, yeah, I'm waking up an extra hour early. It's going to cost me time, sleep, my energy. I might be, exhausted, but I know I can gain more than my time's worth for that hour. Okay, very esoteric concept, but not many people get it. But my father taught me this at a very, very young age. I was like, Dad, let's go play whatever. He said, son, I would love to go play with you, but I've got a family of 4 to feed, a family of 6, 4 kids, the whole thing, mortgage and all this stuff. My time is worth about back then in the 80s, 90s, $500 an hour. So if I go with you, then I got to figure out how to make up that money somewhere else. And it stuck with me, and it sticks with me for the last 40 years. If I spend an hour doing this, what is it costing me in the actual value of my time? And the other side of the equation is, how do I increase the value of my time relative to the market? Not what I think I'm worth, what the market is telling me I'm worth. See, people have a wrong conception too. My time is priceless. No, it's not. Somebody's going to pay you for your time, and that is your market rate. Because if you could do better, you'd go do better. Right? So you have to figure out what is going to increase the value of your worth on a per hour basis and compare that number to all the decisions of what you can do with your time. It's really that simple. Kind of spoke a roundabout way to get there, but it's really that simple. So if you're like, I don't know, Jeff Bezos, an hour of your time is worth, God, I don't know, $5 million, let's say, right? So what can he do that's going to get more value than $5 million per hour? Or how does he spend his time? Like I just read he's going out raising $100 billion to buy manufacturing facilities. To do what? To replace the people with automated AI processes. I'm telling y'all, it's about to get fucked up, man. I am on the cutting edge of this AI movement and talking about the value of your time. Pretty soon, a lot of people's time is going to be worth zero because AI is replacing them. Like Amazon, they just did a thing where I think they told 2,500 of their employees to start programming shit for AI. And once they were finished with that project, the AI started running itself and replaced those 2,500 people. So Amazon fired them. They basically created their replacement, their computer replacement out of a job. And that's the way the trend is going. I read an article the other day. There's a one-person business using AI agents doing $4 million a month. So you really need to assess what is your value to society on a per-hour basis in order to understand where you fit in this upcoming change, this chaos that's about to happen, where you fit in. Because if you don't, it really is going to bifurcate. Society is going to break off into two sections. People that adopt AI and understand it and use it efficiently, and people that don't and or want to avoid it and can't handle it or don't know what to do with it. That's where it's going. That is where it is going. I guarantee you. And so now it's understanding what is your value in this whole setup on a per hour basis. If you become irreplaceable in this new AI side of things, you might be priceless. People will pay whatever to get your expertise. But if you're not, the other side of the equation is you might be zero. Like we can't use you for anything because we've got robots doing it or we got computers doing it. I just had a lunch where one of my lawyers said, dude, I use Grok for my tax return. I just put in all my tax documents and it gave me a refund of like $15,000. Why would you need to hire a CPA then? Why would you need to hire a tax preparer? You wouldn't. But Jan, you're a lawyer. Well, yeah, it's true. I know a lot of we call it transactional lawyers, transactional law, where you're just moving documents, contracts, and shit. That's getting replaced with AI for sure. 100%. Now, the litigation part where we have to actually got to argue and get in front of juries and, all that, kind of not as much going to get replaced by AI. Might, some parts of it, but not a lot. And that's why we're a litigation firm. We're positioning in that direction. Or we're positioned in that direction. Right? So the point being is that the lowest common denominator for all of us is what is our value to society on a per hour basis? What is somebody willing to pay you for an hour of your time? Because that's truly what you're worth on a business level, not value as a person, but on a business level. That's what you're worth. Because if you were worth more, you'd get more if you really wanted it. See, that's the other side, is that you might be just satisfied where you are. That's okay. But if you're an ultra-high achiever, you're always trying to max out what your value is worth. I would love to be worth tens of thousands of dollars an hour, but I'm not yet, right? But again, it's how do you spend your time in this chaos that's coming around the corner? In fact, some people would argue it's already here, but we just don't see it yet, right? How do you max out what your value is on a per-hour basis in opportunity costs or replacement costs for you and what you do? If you do X, is it worth your time because you're going to get Y value more than X beforehand, after it? Or if you do X, you're going to increase your per hour worth by Y. And those are the only two conditions where you actually should do things from a business perspective. Now, obviously, if you're with family and all these things, yeah, go do those things. Yeah, I mean, mental health is important. Outlets are important. Social interaction is important. Self-care is important, right? I go to the gym. There's actually an opportunity cost to that. You go to the gym, you defer or you save on health care, getting sick. Don't go to the gym. There's an opportunity or replacement cost there. In fact, it's double, right? You don't go to the gym. You don't do anything. You get sick. You go to the hospital. Now you're losing out on time you can actually get paid, and you're losing out on time and cost getting the treatment, and you're losing time and cost in the recovery, and you're losing time and cost in expanding your capabilities to learn something new to increase your per hour rate of value. So not exercising has that massive negative multi-X negative return on investment by not working out. So distill everything to the lowest common denominator. And for your life, that's the value of your per hour rate. You either got to grow it or do things that are worth more than that hour rate. And that's the easiest way to think about things, whether you should do something or not. That is actually if I'm always posed with the question, what do you want to do right now? That's what I think about. That's exactly what I think about. Now, every time I go out for social, there's always a business agenda to it. I'll tell you that. Because I know I'm spending my time, yes, having fun, drinking, whatever, music, dancing, whatever, but it's in the environment where I know I can get business done. It's building relationships so that we could do a bigger deal, a new deal, an opportunity. Now, will those opportunities pan out? No, not always. So then I would have wasted that opportunity cost and replacement cost. But I'm putting myself in position to, quote, get lucky, which means, preparedness and opportunity equals luck, quote unquote. So with that, use this time. The window is closing. I don't say this hyperbolically. I say this as an expectation. It's about to get really chaotic, really, like more so than you know. The Iran thing is not going away anytime soon. And in fact, arguably, it's going to escalate even further. And the Gulf Coast nations, if you're into that geopolitics, it's about to get flipped upside down. When they're attacking oil fields and energy, like they attacked the largest natural gas facility in Qatar, the largest facility of energy production in Iran, like besides the 20% of energy that's being stuck in the Strait of Hormuz, like production. Like it took years and years and billions of dollars to build the infrastructure that got bombed like that. How long do you think it's going to take to recover? When and if this war ever ends? It's going to be a while. Right? So think about if oil goes to $200, $300 a barrel, think about $10, $12 a gallon. Think about how that's going to hit your pocketbook. And think about the pressure now on employment with AI and a crumbling real estate market and a crumbling private credit market. All these things are positioning. I've been talking about it for the last 5 years, 100-year cycles. The last Great Depression, 1929, and here we are, three years away from 2029. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. But the only thing we can control, again, are our own thoughts, actions, and feelings. And for us, got to get prepared. Got to get prepared. So boost your productivity, boost your knowledge gap, boost all these things that'll keep you relevant so that you're part of this group that's prospering in this chaos versus this group that's not so much. Okay? I don't mean this podcast to be a downer. I'm meaning this podcast to be a spark to get you inspired, to get yourself prepared. And that's what this is. Okay, because we're all about inspiring people to live to their fullest controllable potential. That's the mission statement of this podcast. That's why I started it 4 years ago, almost to the date. That's why we've been going 4 years straight. It's to prepare you and inspire you to live to your fullest controllable potential and increase the value of your per hour cost. And if you do that, you're going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. All right? So with that, I'll close the episode as I close every day, which is before my head hits the pillow, I turn off the lights, shut my eyes. I thank God in the universe one more time for another day to hopefully live to my fullest controllable potential, another day to hopefully inspire somebody else to live to theirs. And if that was you today, please do share the show. Remember, we work on a karmic balance. I give you free game, help you understand how to be prepared in this chaos. So if you took value out of that, please return that value, rebalance the scales of karma, and share the show. I like to say, if your knowledge swell, share the show. That is how we grow. Be great today, but be even more grateful. Despite everything that's going on, be grateful and you'll be all right. And I look forward to bringing you another episode next week.